Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some really big news to go and cover over here, where there's actually a final movement coming over here from PlayStation, where PlayStation themselves has kind of been plagued these past few, I almost want to say few years, but heavily these past few months. We even made a few videos calling out this problem and discussing this problem, and essentially what was happening was a lot of PlayStation Store items were essentially bloatware. They were useless, they were bad software, they weren't even worth having around. And one of the big things to kind of note with it is that PlayStation didn't really do anything about it. There was a lot of folks that were basically making games that you basically press one button and you get a bunch of free trophies. You get all these other various games too that they're selling for 99 cents that were just spam, weird, or just kind of downright inappropriate. And basically people were kind of calling out PlayStation for never actually doing anything with it, let alone banning them or policies or whatever. And a lot of these kind of developers were making easy money doing kind of schemy stuff. But now we finally have PlayStation now making statements and banning and sending out emails to getting rid of this huge, awful reskin mess that's been going on with the PlayStation Store. So we're going to talk about this really good news and bring this on up because I would love to go talk about it. And as well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. We're also super close to 60,000 subs, so thank you guys all so much for that. So you guys just want me to go beg for it. I'd love to have you guys sub before we hit that milestone. The Twitter and Twitch link down below if you guys want bonus giveaway followers, and of course the Target links and Amazon links down below. And let's dive into this, in my opinion, pretty good news. So as we mentioned, PlayStation has now banned shovelware. If you guys don't know, shovelware is just a lot of these kind of useless and basic things that are just not good. It's just not a good game, it's not a real game, and sometimes it's just there for trophies, sometimes it's there just to make money, and sometimes they've actually been unfinished early access, just kind of bloatware bad games. So they have now actually gotten rid of these platinum games on the PlayStation Store, and these shovelwares, and the most recent wave of reskin games is finally coming to an end. And now, like I said, this is good, because if I'm playing games on PlayStation, or I want to find a new indie game to maybe make a review on, or stream, or play, or whatever, guess what? I want to make sure it's a good, real game. I want to make sure it's something that's worth my time and money. And I'm also not really a big platinum hunter, but a lot of folks in like kind of like the game hunting, platinum hunting type vibe really didn't appreciate this. Because you could have someone who maybe spends 50 bucks and made the whole kind of hobby of collecting platinum trophies, you know, beating games 100%, or any other side trophies as kind of more of a pay-to-win hobby rather than just a fun hobby to be like, yeah, you played a lot of these good games and have a chance to talk to it. So you had some random guy who would go and buy 15 99-cent games and get a bunch of platinum trophies, and then they somehow have beaten more games than other folks. So right now, PlayStation addressed this now with a letter. So PlayStation has sent out a dev letter to all of its developers noting that shovelware, games that are reskinned, non-games, and games just made to give people a platinum trophy are going to be either shadow banned or delisted with a chance that the developers being banned from publishing any more games. So what they're trying to do, they're trying to say like, hey, you've been kind of scheming the system for a while. People like me who have made these videos and callouts and everything with this are kind of getting sick of this. And we don't also want our consumers going to the brand new game store and store listings and only seeing scams and only seeing really horrible products. And I think that's a big thing to really note because that is a representation. If the first thing you did when you launched your PlayStation 5 was, hey, buy this 99-cent game, and you're like, well, I just got my console, maybe I should trust PlayStation and see, and then you buy it and you realize you just wasted $1, you're probably not going to have a good vibe, good PlayStation experience, and at the end of the day, you're probably going to be like, well, what was the point of this? But part two of that would be, if you're actually generally looking for games, like an actual valid, normal PlayStation user, and you're looking for all these games, guess what? You're going to also never be able to find those hidden gems. So those cool, really cool indie games that may not have the proper marketing. So we have this email that was sent out over here where it basically has this. You have the spam and duplicative content on November 21st, 2022. As Sony Interactive Entertainment strives to ensure that customers can search and discover the full breadth of experiences on PlayStation and that partners have a fair means of being discovered. When partners oversaturate or spam PlayStation Store team with many variants of the same type of content, it can negatively impact both the customer and partner experience. And that's kind of what I was assuming and saying, is that they it lets you have a real, proper, legitimate game with, you know, people spent a long time, years, or spent a lot of money, or marketing, or branding, or whatever, and then you release it. And you're hoping that PlayStation's gonna go and maybe you're an indie dev, you're not really expecting millions of sales, but you hope that maybe people browsing through the new category or searching through like your puzzles or whatever it might be might randomly, organically find your game, buy it, and play it, and you might get some money back. But This is also kind of basically them saying two ways. Kind of how I mentioned before, if someone goes to these websites and like the listings or whatever it might be on your PS5 app for the new games and new game releases or specific categories, and they only see 100 of the same game remade with different pictures and slightly different names, they're probably not going to browse. Like if I saw a whole 30 like page catalog of just 30 of the games were lame, I'm probably just going back out and maybe look at what's hot or look at the PlayStation games or look at the best sellers, because maybe I'm like, yeah, this is a scam. These are all broken. They're all lame. And that's why I think a lot of people who are playing these things would actually do. But as well, it also kind of goes and kind of also hurts other like these other companies. So like I said, if you have a proper legitimate game, and let's say it's a puzzle game, and then you have 50 other brand new puzzle games that just came out that also might even be getting more sales because people want the platinum trophies or they see it's cheap or whatever. Like some folks would rather buy the 99-cent game than the $9.99 game or the $29.99 game. Then guess what? That's also just unfair advantage. And even though the other products are worse, because they're being spammed, that might also mean that your game that should, in maybe like a different Steam or whatever, should be like maybe on the first like page for a few weeks as more new games come out, then maybe it's literally removed after 2 days. So now you're not even on the front page. People maybe click off the front page because there's so much spam, and as well, you spend all this time, money, and effort to maybe have your game ported to PlayStation, and then you may not get any money. So PlayStation realizes that those legitimate folks don't like this. They don't want their games blended in with these kind of mediocre systems, so they want these spam and duplicative contents gone, and as well, they also don't want the consumers also seeing what I kind of explained. I think you guys will probably agree. So basically, they have a new partner requirement. So when Sony Interactive reviews the content submitted to PlayStation Store, products that have the following characteristics are identified as spam or repetitive content. Products whose functionality and/or assets are copied or are not meaningfully different from products already published on PlayStation Store, irrespective of the publisher or of record. Multiple concepts or product variants published by individual partners that have duplicate functionality or experiences, differentiated only by minor variances or functionality or assets. And then where possible, partners should consider aggregating small, similar content experiences into a single product. So they're also trying to get rid of, like, let's say Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5 games that are all being sold by 99 cents. And they're like, hey, we get the idea, maybe the micro DLCs or little video content, whatever, but let's maybe make that into one game and not have all these spam and duplicate listings too as well. So they want to also say supplying different trophies for each product is not enough to differentiate content, because also I think some games are literally like, you go press up and you win, and then so they want to maybe release another game that you press down and win, or maybe get different trophies, but it's literally the same exact game being released. And now, as I mentioned, it's been kind of plaguing PlayStation for a while. So this is probably one of the more important updates they've actually had a chance to go and address and talk about over here. So the anonymous sources basically said this is confirmed from Sony themselves, and Sony did call them out as we read through the letter itself. But this is literally from like PlayStation. Like PlayStation literally does not want folks to do this. They want to make sure any things are good. And they did go and say if any of these devs break these things that are mentioned above, Sony PlayStation has said the following in a letter about the actions in place, saying, content or partners found to have breached the policy may be subject to the following enforcement actions. Content excluded from PlayStation Store merchandising, so no more games. Discoverability on PlayStation Store is restricted, so that means you just wouldn't show up on the new ads, maybe wouldn't go and show up on bestsellers, maybe just to be like, you'll be on page 9 instead of page like 1 or 2. Content does not feature an automatic merchandising placement such as the new releases, which is, once again, if you're spamming these new releases, as we use that metaphor of like things being pushed back really quick from legit games, would be gone. You have your content potentially just fully delisted from the PlayStation Store, as in it's just removed. Content then not being searchable as well, and it can only be accessed via direct links. So let's say you have a website or Twitter link or Facebook page or whatever, you might still get sales, but it may not show up publicly, kind of like if you get shadow banned on from like a YouTube. Impact on the cert ops process, which I'm assuming is just the actual like verification process. Content not being permitted to proceed in publication. So basically games can maybe just not even be ever approved and are halted. They might have the review slot availability, as if like if you have a guy who's, once a week will approve you if you have a lot of games, rather than maybe like, hey, like you're now going to take 6 months. You might have content taken down. You have it might removed from PlayStation Store. You might have your account fully suspended or just terminated. And multiple ejections and takedowns basically means we just don't even want to work with you and we want to get rid of you in the first place. And they also just want to, if you do get terminated, we're going to remove everything as well, from suspensions and everything too. I think this is great. This has been a small problem, but it's been still a big problem, and I think this actually might go and increase the quality of new games that might be coming out, and as well kind of highlighting indie games and smaller games that may need the potential marketing as well. So give me your thoughts and comments down below, and as well I'd love to see your thoughts, comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We're so close to 60K. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed for the PS5 giveaway, $500 giveaway, Xbox giveaway, Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow, and of course the Target and Webull links and Amazon links all down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.